What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the collab. My name is Sam, and I'm sitting with...
My name is Timothy Augustine, one half of the T&T Podcast. What's up, what's up?
Here we go, the T&T and TFP collab. We've done a few of these episodes. They've been a lot of fun. And, you know, life happens, and so we haven't got together in a while, but we were all supposed to be here. We were also going to have an extra guest, Dennis, from the Juice Podcast, and he wasn't feeling well, and so, you know, I talked to him, and I was like, dude, just get better, no big deal. So we got another one. We're going to have to schedule another one, get everybody in here, but today it's just going to be me and Timothy. We're just going to knock this out and kind of get an update on what the T&T guys are doing. Talk a little bit about, I have a few things that I want to talk about as far as like pop culture, hip hop and music. And I want to get your take, man, because I've been like waiting. I don't talk about none of this stuff on my pod because it just doesn't fit with my format. Yeah. So they might seem a little dated, but whatever, dude. I'm just going to bring it, right?
Yeah, let's get to it.
And so update me, man. How are you doing? How are you in Taylorean? What's been going on? I know y'all been on a hiatus. And the relaunch is near. You teased it on the live, so I'm not dropping anything that y'all didn't do first. Tell me a little bit about what's going on about the relaunch, man.
Yes, sir. So the relaunch of the T&T Podcast, man. We've been gone now it's been 2 years.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's been a long time. And let me tell you, I don't even know what time is anymore, to be honest. Like, time is just going by so fast. Yeah. And I was just talking to my wife yesterday about how the older that we're getting, the quicker the time is going, how I just want to be a kid again. But no, we stopped in September of 2021.
Why did y'all stop? How about that? We'll start there.
A lot of things happened. For one, we had some life-changing situations that happened within my family. My wife lost somebody that was really, really close to her. And that was a time when I felt like I had to just step up, like, you know, as a husband, be the best support that I could be. At that point, the podcast was not important to me. So I just wanted to make sure that I was being a good supportive husband to my wife. Yeah. And as far as Taylorean, he was in the Air Force. He had just came back that year in September of 2020. And we stopped because we wanted to make sure that the next time we come back with the pod, that it was, it was a better experience. It was a better, like, listening experience, a better experience for you to watch. We wanted to do it in person, on camera. I feel like that was something that we had promised to our viewership, because I don't want to say, you know, we don't have like a big fan base or anything like that, but, you know, the people that watch us, we just wanted to bring the highest quality. And I think in between September of 2021 and now, like, we've just been trying to not only get the right podcast equipment, but just make sure that me and him are both in the right headspace to be able to give the content that the people are wanting. And I'm not someone that believes in make sure that I give y'all the best conversation. I want to make sure that my knowledge is up on hip hop, and I want to make sure that I'm able to educate people. Because I feel like one of the reasons why me and Taylorean started the T&T Podcast was because me and him have a different... We did the research. Yeah. I'll say that. We've done the research. There's a lot of people from our generation that don't necessarily care about a certain time in hip hop that came before us. So we want to kind of bridge the gap and be able to give flowers to, kind of like what Nori does on the Drink Champs podcast. We want to give flowers to the people that came before us and the people that are here now. Got it. And I feel like there's not a lot of platforms that do that. I know there's a lot of people that are coming up that are doing that, but
I think it's going to get more saturated as all these older rappers start semi-retiring. They're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. It's podcasting for them. Now, not all of them are going to make it. Like, they also realize how difficult it is, and so they'll come and then they'll go as, you know, just as fast. So 2 years, you know, for me, that's a long break to maintain motivation, to kind of, like, you know, you knew what y'all were doing back then. Y'all had got some momentum. That's when we had met, kind of a little bit after y'all were slowing it down. between you and Taylorean, and this is like for creatives, you know what I mean, that kind of have like roadblocks or writer's block, like if you were a writer, how have y'all dealt with this 2 years, to find yourself today and still be willing to do it? Because when I talk to y'all are still very motivated, but a lot of people, they'll say, we're on a break, but really they're gradually quitting and they're gonna walk away. So what have y'all done to kind of stay motivated, man?
I think me personally, I think it's just the love that we both have for hip hop.
Yeah.
We love talking about hip hop. We started this thing that we have from a friendship. Like I met Taylorean during my first year of college, and we hit it off because both of us have the same taste in music. So even though we've been on a 2-year break, we've still done content here and there as much as we can, to kind of keep ourselves motivated. And then also I think another motivation point is just watching other podcasters, not established podcasters like a Joe Budden or whatever, even though I do pay close attention to what he does. I'm talking about even the local podcasts, like the Rap Podcast and you and other people that, haven't, because we met. Have we told the people how we met?
Yeah, I think we've told them a few times, but we met. You go ahead, drop that, and then I'll jump in if I need to add one thing or two.
It's interesting because we met. So I'm gonna give y'all the whole story. So my wife listened to the Corks in Cowtown podcast by Robin. Shout out to her.
That we haven't talked about that. That's how y'all ended up. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, so
we've been missing that.
Yes. So my wife listened to her podcast, and my wife actually knows a friend of Robin by the name of Noelle. Shout out to Noelle. She was the one that sent us the invitation to that event that we met you at. Yeah. And so when we got there, that was the first podcast.
PDR and podcasting.
Yes, that was the one. And that was the first like little networking event that we had. That was a new experience for me. So I don't know if you remember, but we were there and me and Taylorean saw you sitting on the couch by yourself and you were just kind of chilling. Yeah. And I looked over at Taylorean and I was like, yo, let's go. Like he looks, you know what I'm saying? Let's go.
He don't look threatening. Let's go sit with him. That's where the quiet people are.
I told him, I was like, yo, let's go, see what's going on. And we sat down and, you kind of did a little small interview with us. We kind of introduced ourselves, and then the rest is history, and here we are now. And
do y'all wonder where that audio is? Do y'all ever say, Sam, didn't Sam record us?
I think I asked Taylorean about that maybe one time, but I was like, he's probably just, keeping it for like some project or something that he's doing or something.
Well, I have it. It's just put away. I just didn't think I didn't do good enough. I was nervous, and I was kind of out of pocket. No one was recording, but it's mine. Like I have it. It's so. But it was so loud. I remember being nervous, and I went because Andrew from the Fort Worth Roots invited me, and I don't do social events like that. Like that's just not my thing. So I was sitting there nervously. Sitting there trying to keep to myself. I was like, okay, whoever sits here or comes, that's who I'm gonna talk to.
I 100% feel you on that because I don't know if I've said it before, but I'm introverted. Mm-hmm. I like to be at home. Like my home is my comfort, so I don't really. If I'm stepping out to do stuff, it's got to be for like my brothers.
It's gotta be an objective, man.
Yes. So you were not the only one that was nervous that day. It was so hard for me to just walk up to someone and like introduce myself. Like that was the first time that I was able to really step out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And I feel like I learned a lot. Like I learned a lot from that because a lot of great things have happened afterwards. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate you for that as well.
I just got really good vibes from y'all. We talked, we laughed, during the interview, and then I found out y'all were from Dallas and y'all had came down, and I just said to myself, I said, I'm gonna make an effort to see what these guys are doing, and it just so happened that y'all were like beginning your break, like you were in it, and I was like, well, I watched your stuff that y'all had done previously. Obviously, it was like during COVID, so there was a lot of Zoom stuff that y'all had done. And I was like, well, they have something. And I was keeping up with like podcasts and hip-hop podcasts. And I know that like culturally speaking, people are really enjoying them and listening to them. So I said, I got to see if I can do anything to help these guys. I don't want them to kind of just go away. And that's really been my intention with this collab thing that we're doing. It's just like, I got to keep him on it. Like if maybe they're motivated, y'all motivated on your own, but I wanted to contribute to that, you know, so at least to keep y'all out there if y'all wanted to use the content that we've been making, and y'all have. Like, I've gotten a lot of love from your supporters, but at least it's out there. Like if someone types in your stuff, one of our interviews will come up. And so in essence, y'all been doing your lives, and then we've been doing the collab thing. And so y'all still around, y'all floating around, and anytime I talk about what I'm doing, y'all come up, like in the pod community here in Fort Worth, in Texas, obviously, because we don't know who's going to be watching now or later. Okay. And so, but yeah, it's been fun, man. I really enjoy just knowing y'all, dude. Like, and y'all just, I don't know, you and Taylorean are just cool guys, man.
Oh, man, I appreciate that so much. And yeah, it just comes from a real place. Like, the whole motivation thing, it comes from just, again, like, the love for hip-hop. Like, it's real. Like, with me and him, it's real. Like, we really have a real love for it. And even with the, like, doing the lives, like, that's just something that we just came up with. We were like, yo, like, we're on a break right now. We got to keep continuing to figure out ways to put content out there and show people that we really like we're really a part of this hip hop stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? And we're not going anywhere. Like, I don't care how long we're on a break. We're not going anywhere. Like, we're staying in the conversation.
Now, a lot has happened in culture. I have a few things I want to bring up, and I just want to get your thoughts on it, see what you think.
DJ Envy going to jail.
I know. I'm watching. He's very confident that he's going to be okay, but there was a post that was going around, and it said the Breakfast Club is looking for a host. And I was like, because they're selling it as if they need a third. Yeah, but I feel like they're prepping to keep it alive.
So that I've seen that too. Now that's old, because Angela Yee, who was the third who was the third co-host on the Breakfast Club show, she left a while back to start her own show. So she actually has her own morning show now. Got it. She brings her own guests on there. She does like little one-off interviews here and there. So I think was for Angela Yee.
Oh, yeah.
Now the Envy thing though, that's still a real thing. That's still a serious thing. Now the last thing that I saw in regards to this was, I think Caesar, who is the individual that was doing the Ponzi scheme, he wrote, I don't know how true this is. This is something that I just read. Allegedly. There you go. Caesar wrote an affidavit saying that DJ Envy didn't have anything and he didn't know. So I think that's why Envy is kind of just maybe moving forward. Yeah. But I don't know how he's doing it, because I don't watch the Breakfast Club as much as I used to, because I am inspired by Charlemagne. I'm inspired by Charlemagne, just his style of, well, I don't know, because he was kind of a dick.
I think you're talking like maybe his impact and the doors that he's opened and allowed us to see the potentials that we can reach, because he moves like Envy is like on his mic and he's there. Charlemagne has moved so many places, done so many interviews with all kinds of people, talked on so many subjects. He's a little extreme, but then he's still around. So it's just like you kind of he's kind of setting the ground for a lot of podcasters and stuff.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think for me, like, the inspiration from him, for me, just comes from his background in hip hop. He has a hip hop background. He comes from the previous generation, so he knows a lot. I've learned a lot from just listening to him talk and listening to him interview other artists. And as far as DJ Envy goes, like, Envy is also a legend to me, because he did a lot of like New York mixtapes back in the day.
Oh, really?
So that's, he put a lot of artists on his mixtapes and stuff like that. But yeah, it's an unfortunate situation with the whole Envy thing. I mean, I hope it doesn't come to like what people are saying is going to come to, but I mean,
it's, so I was looking at the description for that, to fill that spot. And it's funny to me because it you think of podcasting and how accessible it is for anyone at any age to get into it. And I looked at the description, and they literally probably cut out 95% of creatives, because they're like, this many years in college, this many years in broadcasting, it's this ridiculous entry. And for them, it's like, dude, the cost of entry for podcasting and what what people were listening to, and what it just didn't line up to me. And I don't know, it just didn't sit well with me. Now, it'd be different if it was like the marketing salesperson, or we're hiring a CEO to run the Breakfast Club, whatever. That's different. But they're looking for on-air talent, and they had these requirements that I don't know, just didn't make sense to me.
Radio is a tricky thing, because I feel like in radio, because I used to, like, my dream growing up was to be in radio, because I didn't necessarily ever want to be like a rapper and be in the forefront. I want to be in the background. I don't want nobody knowing who I am or nothing like that.
Too late now. It's Timothy, guys.
Oh,
not
goodness.
Joking.
But just for the radio thing, I think there's a lot of gatekeeping in radio. And
that's a strong lock on that gate, man.
It's going to be very, very difficult to replace DJ Envy if it does come to that, because I feel like they rotate people. Like, they rotate people. Like, if you, Angie Martinez, who is another big inspiration of mine, she's been in radio for years. I read her book. She originally worked at Hot 97 in New York, which was a big hip hop radio station back in the day. And she now works at not at the Breakfast Club, but she works for the station that the Breakfast Club is. And so I feel like there's just a lot of like gatekeeping and rotating. And if DJ Envy leaves, they're probably going to try to bring in someone else from a different radio station, or someone else who's already at the Breakfast Club, or whatever the case may be. So it's going to be hard to even fill it. When I say hard, it's going to be difficult for someone who is not already in the radio field to step into that role, to even be given the opportunity.
For sure.
So I don't know.
I figured, to me, it's talent before all those things.
Yeah.
But whatever. I was like, it ain't us. It ain't me.
I think the thing with Charlemagne too is, I think he may not be able to run the Breakfast Club by himself. But I mean, he still has Brilliant Idiots. He still has his Brilliant Idiots podcast, and I think that he does really, really well at doing like the one-off interviews with artists and stuff like that. So even if the Breakfast Club doesn't work out, Charlemagne will figure it out. Yeah, he will figure it out. So
that was interesting. Okay, so I want to get your take on this. Okay, see what comes out of this. Okay, so Usher to headline the Super Halftime, or hold on, let me rephrase that, because I know they're really particular about that. So the super game, let's just call it the Super Game, and I'll cut out the other one. He's going to headline the Super Game, okay? And so it's a big deal. Obviously, Usher he's been in the game for a long time. When that came out, what were some of your first thoughts? What were you thinking? And then now that it's sat a little bit, a lot of people have talked about it. How do you feel about that?
Oh man, I feel like it's well deserved. I feel like it should have happened a long time ago. I think that Usher definitely has a catalog to be able to do the Super Bowl. And I'm just thinking in my head, like, what songs are we fixing to hear? I'm already getting myself ready, because Usher is a legend, and he has several classics. He's been in the conversation of R&B music since the beginning. And I just think that this whole, because this is a rollout, by the way. I don't know if anybody noticed. This is a rollout. His album is actually dropping on the same day that he performs at the Super Bowl.
But do you know what's okay? If he were to come out with a new album, who can, like, he doesn't even need a new album.
No, he doesn't.
Because it's 15 minutes. Dude, I mean, there's so many songs that he can do up there, and he can bring in so many cool features that he's had in the. I don't even know. 15 minutes ain't enough.
No,
man.
It's not. Not for his catalog. It's not enough. He could do an hour. Like, I think he could do an hour.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But this whole like the Vegas residency. I don't know if you've been seeing this Vegas residency where he's been performing, and he'll like stop in the crowd and see someone else famous, and he'll like have them dance and all that kind of stuff. Like, this is all a rollout. And I think it's the greatest rollout ever, because it's the Super Bowl, the Vegas residency, all of the controversy that he's had, if you want to call it that. And then for the album to come out on the day of the Super Bowl, I think this is the greatest rollout ever. And I think Usher has a really, really great team. Yeah. I think that Jay-Z did right by finally being like, we need to get Usher. Like, it's time for us to get Usher to perform at the Super Bowl. So.
Usher said it's an honor of a lifetime to finally check a super game performance off my bucket list, and he's won 8 Grammys. And then Jay-Z said, beyond his flawless singing and exceptional choreograph, Usher bears a soul. And Jay-Z is so excited. He said, can't wait to see the magic that comes out that day. The last Super was the hip-hop, almost like a hip-hop 50 type of thing, where it was Kendrick, Dre, Snoop Dogg, and Eminem. I forgot who else.
So the last Super Bowl was the Rihanna one.
The one
50,
before that.
The one before that one. Okay.
When they had came out, and there was a comparison because they were like hip hop rappers, and then now you have this R&B / performer. Like, he is a Michael Jackson-ish performer. That's just another level to me when it comes to halftime performances. And there was a critique that someone had said, and they said that all the guys that performed together couldn't carry a halftime show on their own. Like and 50 was part of it too. That they had to, and so that they had to come together to do it. And so, how do you feel about that? Because I feel like any of those, as deep as their catalogs are, they are not performers. Like, it's almost boring to watch them, because it would be all this chaos behind them and they would literally just be standing there. But that was the critique that they put out. Not that their catalog can't carry a 15-minute spot. It could, but that they were missing the performance. And so when you put them together, it was enough to carry the halftime show.
Yeah, I think that's valid. I remember seeing that critique too. I think it's valid to a degree. I think there were some like Kendrick is definitely a performer. I've seen Kendrick live like 2 or 3 times, and I think he puts on a great performance. The only issue with Kendrick is I don't know if he has the catalog to be able to do it. That's the only problem.
Yeah.
I think that's a valid argument, because I've never seen 50 Cent live. But he is more of the stand there, and you're not gonna get like too. And I think the Super Bowl performance it's a performance. Like, people want to see you perform. I think that's why I was a little bit upset with the Rihanna thing, because why would you have her perform at the Super Bowl while she's pregnant and she's not able to?
Yeah.
Really, which I don't know whose decision that was. She probably agreed to do it.
And don't send us any hate. We're not hating on women or pregnancy.
No.
And she owned it. It was a lot of hidden messages in her performance and costumes and all that, which I thought was crazy once I looked into it. But yeah, I felt like her catalog, not only musically but performance wise, man, people were looking forward to it. And then she came, and it was just like, how can I say, it wasn't 100%.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. And yeah, it's not hate at all, because I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm a part of the Navy. I'm a part of Rihanna's Navy. I think that Rihanna has an incredible catalog. I think her last album, Anti, I don't even care if I don't get another album from her. I'm good with Anti. I'll take it. But I think what the issue was she's been gone. She had been gone for so long. We haven't heard anything from her for so long. I think we expected something else. But I don't want to make this about Rihanna. I think the Super Dr. Dre and all them. That, I think what you said, I think that's valid.
Yeah, and so I mean, Usher is gonna redeem the Super Bowl. But here's for sure, man. He's gonna bring the house down. But here's something that came up, and it's so dumb. It's so dumb. Okay, and I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, okay? Because I know everyone's tired of probably hearing this. But anyways, so Taylor Swift, okay?
Oh, Lord.
She's been going to games because she's dating a football player. And their numbers have gone up from all kinds of new data points. And so when you look at the executives for the NFL, they're going to love it. They're going to love that growth. And so they're saying, what if, now it's a what if, he's obviously, I'm sure he signed a contract. He's doing the super game. And I keep saying the word. He's doing the super game. But they say, what if they made a mistake? What if it was supposed to be her? What if they figure out a way to give it to her? What if they were to cut him out because she's proving that she can move new people to that product?
I think if they did that, they would be making the biggest mistake that they've ever made.
I would boycott. I would boycott the game if that happened.
It would be. I think it would be worse than the backlash. Well, because I remember when Beyonce performed with Bruno Mars and she did like her Black Panther thing and it had everybody in an uproar. I think the NFL would see something like that if they were to move Usher out of the way, because I feel like, I'm not going to say that Taylor Swift is not deserving, but it's not, that wouldn't be the right way to do it.
Yeah.
That would not be the right way to do it. I'm pretty sure a lot of people were probably fighting for Usher to be able to do this for a long time, and now that we're actually about to get it, for you to just come try to sweep it under, I don't think that would be a good idea.
Yeah. So, anyways, it's fake but real. Like, I mean, there's people that are saying that.
No.
It's very unlikely. I think Usher deserves it, and I'm looking forward to it, because I'm just like, man, when Bruno Mars did it, like, dude, I mean, Beyonce, this is just like, you know, it's at that level.
Yeah.
And so I think it's gonna be great.
I think Usher's going to take advantage of it too. Like, I think Usher knows, like, this is the Super. Like, I'm not coming to play. Like, I'm about to really, like, for me, this is going to be Usher telling you, like, this is my catalog. This is why none of you. This is what separate. Because I don't know if you want to get into it, but there's a back and forth, and me and Taylorean talk about it all the time, between Usher and Chris Brown. Like, if they did a versus, like, who would come out on top and who has a better catalog. And I think I'm gonna go with Usher, but I think this Super Bowl performance is gonna show people, like, why Usher is Usher, why he is who he is.
Dude, that is a good versus.
It is. It's a good versus.
Depending on how you line it up. Okay, let's just say you had an individual who was great at 5 things, okay, but one of them was good at arm wrestling, and you said let them compete at arm wrestling, and so obviously the one that was good at it would win, but it would neglect everything else that the other person was great at. Mm-hmm. And so if there was a versus and it was word for word or a song or whatever, maybe Chris Brown has a chance because you can choose the right thing to compete against. But I don't think, as culturally speaking, as far, like, even when it comes to like dances and people singing songs, driving around, and the songs that I hear people playing at clubs or what, Usher got him beat. Dude, a big brother is a big brother all the time. You'll never catch up.
Yeah.
If he grows, you grow, and that is Chris Brown's big brother, and that's just it. And he's still going.
Yeah,
that's the other thing. He's still going and strong.
Yeah, I think, and when you say still going and strong, are you referring to Chris Brown? Or
Usher.
Usher. Yeah, he's still going and he's still strong, but so is Chris Brown. And I think when me and Taylorean discussed this, that's what comes up, because I feel like Usher definitely, when we're talking catalog, Usher may have the better catalog than Chris Brown.
Yeah.
But I am on record saying that I think that Chris Brown is one of the most talented artists that we've seen in my lifetime.
Yeah.
He is one of the most, and I think that Usher would probably come out on top of that, but I don't think it would be a wash. Like, Usher would not walk in there and be like, you're not, like, no, Chris Brown is definitely, that
might be worth seeing.
He's got some firepower. Like, Chris Brown, if you want to discount his catalog, one thing that he's been consistent with is making sure that he touches Billboard in some way, shape, or form. He has hits. So he ain't, and I feel like that's what Versus started as. Like, now with the Omarion and Mario thing, you see it's more of a performance aspect. But if we're just talking record for record, Usher is not washing Chris Brown. He's not going to wash him.
Yeah, I felt like he would, man. But you know what? Here's my thing, because I grew up with Usher. So if you're talking with someone that's from that generation, like his music, like
it resonates. It means more.
This girlfriend, this dance. When I was in school and I went, like, it was him. The beat, everything. And so that's probably where it sways me.
And I agree with that. 100%.
Okay, so let me just say that I do have a sixth grader I have a daughter, okay? And so here we go. I'm going to bring up Taylor Swift one more time. But there's a musical aspect to this, a production, a business side to it. And I just want to get your take on it.
Yeah.
She obviously had some issues with some of her catalogs being purchased and then resold. And she wanted to buy them back. And they were like $1 billion, but a lot of money.
Yeah.
And there was some conflict there. And so she went out a few years back and said, fine, keep them. I'm going to redo them.
Yep.
I'm going to remaster my stuff, and I'm going to, in essence, make what y'all own irrelevant. It's going to be worth nothing. And so they're rolling them out now. And so she just released the 89 one, and she teased it a few months ago, and now the whole thing is out. And so me and my daughter are listening to the original, and we're listening to the new. How do you feel, not only about the music, but the business side of that? Is that move, is she setting something up that's going to happen more and more, or is it just unique to her because of who she is and how impactful she is?
I think it depends on what type of artist you are. Like, do you own your publishing? Do you write your own music? I think Taylor Swift writes her own music, so I think she's going to benefit a lot from re-recording her music.
Yeah.
And I do remember hearing that story about her managers. I think her manager, Scooter Braun, he ended up selling her masters or something like that.
Yeah. Watch, let me read this. It says Taylor Swift behind the scenes moves become front page news with let me come down here. It says Braun, he then sold her masters to another company, Shamrock Holdings, for a reported $300 million in 2019. On a business level, Braun's move was smart. Swift masters recording rep profits wherever songs are streamed or bought. On a personal front, it was a continuous. Swift claimed that Braun was managing stars like Kanye West. Justin Bieber has reportedly bullied her. So there was definitely some bad blood there. I don't know if they were on the same team, but they were definitely there was some bad blood there.
Oh yeah, bad blood. No pun intended. Or I don't know, pun intended, no pun intended. I don't know.
That's funny.
But yeah, I think it just depends on what type of artist you are and what benefits you get from that. Because are a lot of artists gonna go in and re-record their albums if it's not gonna like make them any type of money? I think Taylor Swift, she owns her publishing. She writes her own music, so she's gonna benefit from going in and re-recording. And you're starting to see a lot of artists like Future. He sold his publishing a year ago. I think Kanye sold his publishing. And I think what it is like, it's kind of showing that music is not really the place to be. I know that's probably a bad thing to say, but it's like, I know we were going to talk about like streams and what a stream is and what that means. But I think nowadays what you're seeing is a lot of artists are using music as like the door, like they're opening the door, getting into music, and then they're stepping into other things because music is not doing anything anymore. It's not paying anything. I think, as times change, the album sale is not, it doesn't mean as much anymore with a traditional album sale versus a stream. As time keeps going, it's probably going to be something else. It's probably going to be something different later on down the line. And I think labels and the music corporation are trying to figure out ways to like remedy like what's going on with electronics and all that, like how people consume music.
What do you think? Like, do you have any predictions on how we're going to consume music? Like, what's the next way that we're going to do it? Like, because we jump from like tapes to CD, records and tapes, and then CDs, and then we went into Napster, to the stealing of stuff, and then we went into streaming. And what do you think's going to be next? How can it be better in the sense that I feel like since we've gotten away from like CD, it's been a downgrade. Unless you're downloading at the highest, I don't know what you call it, but there's different levels of how you download a song. So most people download a washed down version. You can't tell, but it is missing a lot.
Yeah.
And then a CD, it would carry all the data. When you played it, it wasn't missing anything. It just had to do with your speakers, but it wasn't missing everything. Yeah. Everything was on that disc. Do you think the quality will start taking like front row again, or is it going to be accessibility?
Honestly, I don't have an answer for that. The only thing that I can say is we saw when Kanye he attempted when he released the Stem Player with his Donda album, and that got a lot of backlash because I think like the user interface of it, a lot of people had issues with that. Like you could put the music on there, but there was no screen, there was no way that you could like navigate easily through the music. It was just like you're playing with the vocals and all that kind of stuff. And I think that's one example of like a futuristic like, you know, device that we're going to have for music later on down the line. But to be honest, I wish I did have the answer, but I don't have the answer to that. I really don't. Me personally, I think I don't know. I don't know if music is even going to I don't know if people are going to care about music like like in the future. I don't know. I have no answer for that.
Okay, so whenever I thought about music, back in the day, you could drop an album and people would say, this album is out by this artist, and that was the connection. And if it popped, it popped.
Yep.
And then now it seems like playlists are so important.
Yes.
Like there are playlists that are like, it is the new album.
Yes. Yeah.
And there's a lot of critique on Drake's new. Okay. And so here's my theory. And it's that his music, his latest album, in a sense, because he's a genius, can plug into so many playlists. And I wonder if someone at his level or someone just out there says, you know what, these are the top, 15 playlists that I want to be on.
Yeah.
And as long as I'm on all those, now, my whole album can't be on this one, my whole album can't be on this one, but this song can go there, this song can go there, and let me send him a text, hey, put me on. Okay, number 2 is for you, bro. I'm writing it for your playlist.
Yeah.
Game. And then you go find the rest, and everything is strategic in a sense.
Yep.
That in the future, the people like doing playlists, whether it be podcasters or YouTubers, that they're going to look to them and say, what is Timothy's playlist on Friday? Like, forget New Music Friday, it's new playlist Mondays.
Yeah.
And when you drop it, bam. You know what I'm saying? And so it's kind of rewriting the whole idea of an album or like something so one-dimensional.
Yeah.
But that's just a theory.
And I hate that, by the way. I hate that. I hate that so much because I had a conversation. This was a couple of years back with someone who we were talking about album cuts and how people don't listen to full-length albums anymore. They go through, they skim through, they get their songs, and then they create it, like what you're saying, they create their own playlist. They take the songs off of it, they don't listen to the album no more, they make their own playlist. And I think the music industry, they know that. They know that's what's going on. That's why they want artists to go to TikTok. They want you to blow up on TikTok. They want a song to get big on TikTok so it can get on a playlist, because if you stream this one song 60 million times, it's going to help the album sales eventually. It's going to help that. Because, I mean, if you, I think they put out like a statistic where it's like if you have to do like anywhere from like 10 to 15 streams or something like that, the criticism that comes that the album is getting is because he was like, how am I going to keep this number one spot and stay on top? I'm going to have to speak to a different generation of people, because I grew up on Drake. Taylorean grew up on Drake, but this is not the same Drake that we grew up on. I think what he's trying to do now is he's saying, I want to stay number one. And in order for you to stay number one, you're going to have to kind of acclimate yourself to the new way of things. Yeah, I
think about like artists that paint, and they start off and they're very creative and their work is very multi-dimensional, and as soon as they hit a niche and they get represented and then like, this works, keep painting lily pads, then they'll go on for the next 20-30 years painting lily pads, and they literally just sold out on all of their other talents. But in order for their name to live on, it is a strategic move that artists make, and it works. And through time, when you walk in museums, you're like, I respect that artist because of the lily pads. You don't say, oh, at one point he was feeding what people wanted. He wasn't feeding himself in his creativity. They gave into what was going to make their name last. And we don't hate on them. We enjoy the art, and it sells for hundreds of millions of dollars. It's a weird thing, but anyways, it's not about the printer. It's about the ink.
Right.
And so you know what I mean?
I like that.
And so albums back then were the printer, and it was so necessary, but not no more. It's like they're trying to sell the ink, and that's the streams, that's the playlist, that's that stuff. And
I think.
What album have you heard recently that's come out that you're really enjoying?
Oh man, it's a lot. Drake actually just signed. It's funny that we're speaking about Drake. He actually just signed an artist by the name of Naomi Sharon. I think it's either Naomi Sharon or Naomi Sharon.
Okay.
She's like a soul R&B singer kind of. She reminds me of Sade. So I love her music a lot because Sade is my favorite artist of all time. She is the greatest artist to ever walk the earth to me. And she kind of gives me that
Sade,
vibe.
give me 5 of her top songs for you.
I would say.
Let me keep thinking. But here's what I'm going to do in this pod. Okay, I will put Sade's top 5, Taylorean's top 5 there. That way they'll know when this comes up. So, anyways.
Okay. Top 5 Sade. I'm gonna say No Ordinary Love, Cherish the Day. I like Your Love Is King. I like Cherry Pie. Yeah, I'll say Cherry Pie is probably my top 5. And then I would probably say she has this song called Mermaid that I really love. But Sade is hard because it's like one day I'll turn on like her Love Deluxe album and be like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. But then I'll turn on like the album with the Sweetest Taboo and I'm just like, no, this is the greatest album ever. So it's like, and then I don't know, like I go back and forth with her, but I would say probably those 5 are the ones that I listen to the most. But Naomi Sharon, I've been listening to her a lot. Her album is incredible. She just released it like last Friday. It's called Obsidian. So that's incredible. Earl Sweatshirt and The Alchemist. Earl Sweatshirt is a rapper. The Alchemist is a producer. They just released an album called, I don't even know how to pronounce it. It's like Void Nior or something like that. They just released that like a week ago. That's an incredible album. No Name. Her full name is No Name Gypsy, but I think she dropped a Gypsy and now it's just No Name. She is a female MC who is very, very like mystique and mysterious. Like you don't really know anything about her, and whenever she does pop out and release an album, she's talking about a lot of like social problems, a lot of real problems that are going on in the world. And me and Taylorean are actually going to see her live next Thursday. So we're going to see her live. She's going to be at the House of Blues in the Cambridge Room. So I'm looking forward to that. She released her album this year also. It's probably one of the best albums of the year. And I can't remember I'm so bad with with names.
I don't know the name. I'm worse, but I'm going to tell you my album, okay? And don't be judging me.
Sundial. Sundial is No Name's album name.
Okay. Because the Latinos right now, they're making a big hit right
Bad
now.
Bunny.
Okay. And it's... You know a little Spanish? You have to, right?
No.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's the only thing. But can you hear when an album like Bad Bunny's is good, even though you don't understand or speak the language?
Yes, because I like Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
Like, I think Bad Bunny makes great music. We actually last year when we made our end of the year playlist, we usually do 100 songs, and it's the 100 best songs of the year. I think 3 Bad Bunny songs that I put on there, and I don't understand everything that he's saying, but it's great. Like his melodies, the beat choices, it's great. It's great. And I haven't listened to his new album yet, but I'm gonna get to it.
Fire. I'm just saying,
You like it?
Dude, you could jam out. Oh my gosh. Anyways, that's for another day. Okay. Method Man, dude, he is making a comeback that no one could have predicted. He is on TikTok freestyling, dropping bars on other artists' beats. Mm-hmm. Have you seen that?
I have, of course.
I mean, this dude's muscle is... It's strong. Like it is pure talent, and he's showing it again, and he's waking everyone up to his name. I'm not sure if he's working on something or what, but he's got it. Have you seen these TikToks?
Yeah, I've seen his freestyles and his TikToks, but we can take it back further than that. A couple of years back, like me and Taylorean have this conversation all the time. I think Method Man is better now than he was when he was with Wu-Tang. Like I think lyrically he's better. Like he's aged great as far as like his content and his lyrics, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, but his solo albums that he releases now, he doesn't even like cuss anymore. Like he doesn't even say any cuss words or anything. So there's no parental advisory on his albums or anything like that.
Dude, new audience, wider audience, man. That's why we try to be clean here with stuff that's connected to the Failed Podcast. That trend seems to be catching on. Nate Bargatze, a comedian, he's a clean comedian. He started like a production company, and it's going to be all clean content. Now it might be funny and it's not all for kids, but it's not going to be raunchy or cuss words on it. And so it's crazy that you say that about Method Man. It shows his level of intelligence and his penmanship as far as being a writer, because that is difficult for some people. I'm like, they would kind of suck, like, but if you're good, you're good. You know.
Very, very, I would say definitely very difficult, especially from where he comes from. I mean, he comes from the grimiest. Like Wu-Tang, I'm Wu-Tang all day. Like I live and breathe Wu-Tang. Like their message is, I don't even want to get into that, but he comes from the grimiest of the grimy. So for him to be able to like not, like what you said, like not cussing his music anymore, it's definitely a wider audience. And I think he's one of those ones because he's doing television. He's still doing the music. I watch a lot of battle rap. He just battled this other battle rapper named Math Hoffa like a year ago. So, and that's something that I like. That's a different type of respect. Like for you as a rapper, like a rapper in the industry, to step into the He's hip hop,
and I can't wait to see. Like, it ain't over. Like, because people have been saying like, "Oh, hip hop's dying," and this and that. No, it's just changing. But then he pops up and does, and you're just like, man, it's strong. It's strong.
You get the artists that come out every year that will remind you, like, hey, like Lloyd Banks. Lloyd Banks he's been going crazy since 2020 with his Course of the Inevitable albums, and he's been reminding y'all, like, no, we're still here. Like, we still do this.
We were supposed to be 4 today. And it's 2 of us, so I hope that this little sit down, this chit chat here is entertained y'all, and it's been good.
Yeah, I just because I feel like with you, how did you what was your start in podcasting? Like, how did you land here where you are now?
Well, many years ago, probably like 6 years ago, I was podcasting with something called Counterpunch. And Counterpunch was like, how do you adjust for adversity? What is, like, if this happens in my life, how do I come back fighting so that it doesn't beat me up? So I had this whole thing around that, and it was called Counterpunch. Now, I don't remember if I had anything before that. Well, I did that, and I did a bunch of episodes. I tried doing the co-host thing. I couldn't flow with no one. It just wasn't working. And they were out there, and I deleted them. At some point, I was like, man, it ain't working. I gotta and I delete. I wish I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
But I was so mad and disappointed in myself, so I got rid of it. And so that's kind of how I stepped into podcasting. And so back then I had this weird equipment there because it was so different back then. It wasn't as easy as it is now.
How long ago would you say this was? Like
about 6 years,
6 years? Okay.
Or something. A while back. And then since then I've produced a few. But I was I was in youth ministry, and I started in my early 20s, and I'm an older cat now. And so
OG.
I'm an OG. And so that consisted of me doing research, writing my lessons out, and obviously talking.
Yeah.
Not only one direction whenever I'm teaching these young people, but there was also interaction in it. Yeah. And then in that, I was also responsible for getting to know them, what's going on in life. So it's kind of like, so a lot of my stuff got developed there because that was like, it's just what I did multiple times on a weekly basis for years.
Yeah.
And it developed these muscles that I wouldn't have been able to predict that I was going to use them, or that podcasting was going to be such a big role in my life. But I gained so much of that. Then that was my podcasting education, is me teaching, writing, speaking, and yeah.
So you would say that you have like a love for podcasting now after?
Well, podcasting for me is like, yeah, I do, but it's communication and storytelling.
Okay.
That is like, if for instance, if we were recording right now, didn't have these, I would still be talking to you the same, because I would want to, help you share your story, and then for us to have a great conversation.
Yeah. So you're a good conversationalist, because I think one of the hardest things for me doing the podcasting is, like I keep saying, like stepping out of my comfort zone and being able to have conversations with people. And I just always like to thank you, because you opened that up for me. But where do you see what's your goal with podcasting? Like, are you wanting to have like a big production? Do you want to just educate people, or like what's the end goal with the podcasting?
I don't know what the end goal is, because it just depends on what opportunity people give me. Okay. But I do have goals, and that is to continue to grow the Felt Podcast from use today in their life, and that's it. But I want to put some great stories out there for people who no one was ever going to hear their story. I want to be the avenue that they use. Yeah,
that's good. Because I struggle with going back and forth, because with our content we do the hip hop thing, we do the culture stuff. But I remember when we were coming up in the beginning, like I would hear a lot like you want to have a platform where people are able to walk away with something. You want to teach people. You want to you want to just kind of give back in a way. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of struggle with that a lot, because I'm like, how can we, me and Taylorean, make it to where we're educating people, but also talking about like the pop culture stuff. So I feel like
that's tough.
Yeah, it is.
But I know the answer to that, because I've thought about this stuff. So for me, it's always teaching and giving. That's my motivation. That's my format. That's what I do. For y'all, if you're like super entertaining, super funny, and people see you, young people see you or whatever, and they say they're doing it, I want to do it. I love how they communicate. I love how they love music, and that's what you're giving back. It might be inside someone else, and you're the one that's bringing it to light. So it might not always be like, hey, here's lesson 1, 2, 3 for y'all. But by people watching y'all, you're going to encourage them to want to tap into their creativity. And that, I can't do that. Like, for me, it is lesson 1, 2, 3, right? Yeah. You know what I mean? But that's the difference.
Yeah. And I think we need that. I think we need that too. But for me, like, I guess the reason why I ask that and why I say that is because we've also had a lot of people who have told us that what we're doing is not going to work. Like, it's not going to, like,
I love that people have told y'all that already, because one day you're going to be like, it worked.
Right.
Because, dude, think about the Felt Podcast. There's so many people that, like, I have people so close to me that do not support me because they do not understand it.
How do you get through that? Like, how do you keep like, when you asked me earlier with the motivation, like how do you keep going? Like, what's your motivation?
Because I know how it brightens up someone's confidence when they know how to share their story. I have seen me walk someone through, do this, do that, ask them this question, and all of a sudden something that they're sitting today thinking they bring no value to the world, and then I open up what they've done in the past, what they've learned, how it's impacted them, and the lessons that they can share from it. It changes them. Yeah. That all of a sudden they can sit in front of their son that they could never partake any wisdom because they thought they didn't have it, because they didn't read a certain book, because they didn't talk like a certain thought leader, right? But all of a sudden they look at them and say, you know what? I went through this, and here's what I learned from that. I'm going to give that to my son or whoever, and that's what I love. That's my motivation. You're
hitting it right on the nail, because that was me. That was me. When we would record a lot of our episodes, I'm an overthinker. I just want to tell y'all that right now. I overthink everything. And so for me, the hardest part was just kind of being like, man, like, what are people like when people come and listen to our podcast? What are they? It's important to me. I want people to walk away with something. Like, I want people to walk away with something. So I understand the entertainment aspect of it and all of that, but I want to be able to bring people something that they can like food for thought type of thing. So yeah, I don't know. I just want to make sure that I stay motivated and that we keep this going. And I appreciate everything that you've done. You've been a big part of our journey. And I just, I want you to keep doing what you're doing as well.
Thank you, man. Well, I'm here for y'all guys. You know that y'all stay tuned. T&T is working on something, and they're about to, just get back on the ball. That's appropriate, right? Get back on the ball. Y'all going to start making some content, putting some stuff out there. So y'all can continue to, like you said, entertain people, but also teach them motivation, teach them and motivate them, just from watching the stuff that y'all doing, man. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this, man. It was a little bit unplanned.
Of course. Anytime I come here, you're my brother. Come on.
And I had fun, man. We covered a lot of things. I hope that y'all are watching. And so I'm a little stuffy. It's allergies. They got me a little bit. Sorry if you hear me sniffling over here and whatever. But it's that time of year. It's that time of year. Any final thoughts, words, or any whatever, man? It's your time, and then I'll close it out.
Yeah, of course. I want to thank everybody that continues to tune into the T&T podcast with all the content that we've done. We are going to be back soon. Hopefully the next time that you see us, we will be, it'll be me and Taylorean, and we'll be on our own platform. And, I still want to continue to do stuff with my brother Sam here. So,
yeah, man.
I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody. Love.
Well, we'll keep this collab series thing going because I've had a lot of fun. It's just connecting people. And so thank y'all so much for tuning in to this episode of the collab. And next time we'll have everybody here. But in the meantime, y'all just keep doing y'all. Keep enjoying life, man. Stay positive. Don't quit even when you fail. And just laugh a little bit, man. Just enjoy the rain. Enjoy the heat. Enjoy the cold. Whatever. I read something about that, complaining can hurt someone so much. And, sometimes I do get a little complaining. So I just wanted to put it out there.
That makes you human, though.
Yeah.
That makes you human.
Enjoy your day. Enjoy your life. And that's it, man. And we'll see you on the next one. Y'all be good.
Deuces.